And we are live.
I think it's time.
I believe it is time. Good morning, Crypto Warriors, and welcome back to the Gentlemen of Crypto, episode 162. Today is Tuesday, May 8th, and I'm King.
And I'm Bitcoin Zay, and we are here to bridge the gap between cryptocurrency and the community Monday through Friday at 10-ish.
10-ish. What is going on, everybody? The chat room is full. Crypto Warriors, Ramos first. What's going on? Jamal J, Sergeant Crypto, Zoroaster. Alpha Robbins, are you seeing her girl? Hey, it's me, Boss Lady, John Siebert, Bitcoin J, Tonio, everybody. Hello.
I voted in them.
Let's get started for the free Bitcoin yesterday. Who won?
Oh yeah, so our free Bitcoin winner is a regular here, Sergeant Crypto.
Hey,
congratulations on winning that free Bitcoin. For your comment based on the question we posed, should Ethereum, some of these other coins, if you have them or if they do something, should you be able to sue? I like this comment because basically he says suing won't work. I mean, they couldn't name Ethereum as a security, basically. And like we said before, if people could sue because of the drop in price, let us know. Because if you bought Ethereum with Bitcoin, then you basically legitimize Bitcoin. And also, too, if you want to sue, you got to go up against Wall Street Journal money, which is basically like Warren Buffett, Bill Gates money.
Right.
So good luck, and thank you for that comment, Sergeant Crypto, because that is real life. People can be mad and talk all they want, but when it comes down to it, if you want to do something about it, got to have that money. Yep. So if you don't, just talk about it like we do, and then go on with your day, because there ain't much you're gonna do about it.
Or tar and feather, people. I want to see this happen. I'm promoting this. No.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, thanks for that comment, Sergeant Crypto. There was a lot of good comments on that yesterday. Some thoughtful comments, actually. A lot of them were pretty good. So
oh yeah,
we appreciate all of those for sure. All righty, we all know what it is. Let me get this together. Top story.
Oh yeah.
Top story is Eric Schneiderman. You may remember Eric Schneiderman, I think from a week or two ago, maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. He basically came out. For one, let's go ahead and introduce Eric Schneiderman again. He's he was the New York Attorney General, and he was the one who launched the crypto probe into all the crypto exchanges. There's 13 different ones. Of course, Kraken CEO was the only man. I won't say the man because it could be a woman too, but the only what's the word I'm looking for? The only warrior. There we go. The only warrior among the group who stood up and said, "This is an insult. We're not going to give you any information. Good luck on your own." Yeah. And that's why we put out New York. Of course, Coinbase folded like they always do because they're just after that IPO.
Flimsy.
Right. But long story short, he wanted to launch the probe into the crypto exchanges. The reason why they really want to do it is to figure out how crypto exchanges make money, how they can make money off of crypto exchanges. That's the primary reason for doing it. And it turns out he just got fired or he resigned because 4 women came out and accused him of physical abuse.
Oh, man.
Wow.
And then an even more special report.
Wow.
All 4 of those women we found out own crypto.
What? I was like, you caught me off guard. I was like, what? It's too funny.
It would be funny if 4 crypto women got together and it's like, oh, so you want to regulate the exchanges?
This is also the same New York Attorney General who was trying to sue, the guy out here, Harvey Weinstein?
Yeah, he tried to prosecute Weinstein for the exact same thing.
So again, people, this is what happens when you go against Bitcoin. No, seriously.
Yeah.
So heart attacks and accusations. But I mean, again, this is something we keep saying. It's unfortunate that even us as Americans, we aren't doing more. But a lot of our people in power are corrupt. Yeah. Something is wrong with them. And right here, this guy, one moment, he's talking about crypto exchanges, which really is out of scope of his job description. And literally a week and a half later, he has women accusing him of physical abuse. So as Bitcoin Zay put in the title, you need to regulate yourself instead of trying to regulate the exchanges. Attorney General.
Exactly. Stop projecting.
Eric Schneiderman. That's a straight projecting. You keep saying it. They always project.
They always project. Like whenever
it's for sex crimes. It's for this. It's for what's the guy yesterday?
Munger with harvested babies.
Harvested baby brains. Like
what are you talking
Where do you get this from, man? Like I don't. Who thinks of this man?
And most of them is just them projecting their insecurities onto us because, in my opinion, you can't get to the heights of most of these political positions without some dirt. So that dirt, if somebody knows about it, whenever it comes back around full circle, it usually catches up with the same people who are trying to quote unquote prosecute people for doing illegal stuff. So like we said, the dude in South Korea, he tried to start regulating.
Heart attack.
Woke up with a heart attack. Schneiderman bad news came a week later. Hey, I mean, if you want to regulate Bitcoin at this point, it's almost like being on the cover of Madden. It's
yeah, you about to do Madden curse.
Bad luck.
You are about to get all this. I mean, literally, this guy resigned 3 hours of this story. If you saw his tweet, I'm not sure if it's on this one. He basically tweeted out that you know, everything I've done has been consensual. So he technically didn't deny it. We talk about the show Billions a lot, so maybe he's like, you know, again, the bureaucrat of Billions, which we've actually mentioned before. We said a lot of them are probably like, they be doing that weird stuff. He's probably like it's actually the Attorney General on Billions as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's Attorney General. So like we said months ago about how some of these bureaucrats are, he's probably similar to that. So he didn't deny the physical abuse. He just said everything he does and has done is consensual. However, like I said, 3 hours after the story came out, he resigned. Again, if what you're saying is true, why do you resign?
Yeah.
Don't you have the good Bitcoin crypto fight to fight?
Double down on it, man.
But anyway, it looks like the crypto probe will continue. Looks like the New York Attorney General's office put out that information, which is funny. They put that information out like, oh, regardless of what he's doing, we're going to keep trying to take all your money over here.
Yeah.
But again, people, these are the people we have in power over here. It's a disgrace. It's disgusting. And again, this is why, you know, for me personally, I decided it wasn't in my best interest to continue serving in the military where these are the people we serve for. It's quite unfortunate, but it happens. Tully's.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Comment of the day.
There we go. Let's go to these comment sections. This is crazy. Yep, there you go, Bitcoin J. Sometimes you gotta lay low and mind your business. You have your own skeletons.
Yeah, please, just you don't have to, you know, just don't say anything. But these people, they gotta come out and say stuff because it's an obligation with the job. It's not even the person most of the time. It's not them talking.
Right, yeah, it's that tap on the shoulder. Like
yeah.
Well, hey, one less down. Again, the curse of attacking crypto and Bitcoin continues.
Oh, yeah.
All right, now for the real top story, of course. New York Stock Exchange owner wants to let customers buy Bitcoin.
Oh, really?
Now, of course, this is only top news if you are just like brand spanking new to whatever Bitcoin and crypto is, because it's kind of, again, as we always say, this is an insult because you can already buy Bitcoin. But for mainstream adoption, of course, this is huge. The owner of the New York Stock Exchange is considering letting customers buy and hold Bitcoin. The New York Times reported yesterday the move would be the second Wall Street giant in a week to reportedly open up to crypto. Again, we talk about how FUD rolls out all these bad stories. You got two Wall Street giants in 1 week talking about, you know, allowing people to buy Bitcoin and crypto. Of course, you're going to have your Bill Gates and your Warren Buffets and everybody else come in and talk about
Charlie Munger.
Yeah, talking about not doing it. It looks like, let's see, they're taking it from a few emails, but they've had conversations about other financial institutions opening this up finally and possibly going ahead and do it. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, we reported actually a while ago that they were looking at opening trading on NYSE sometime in June, and right now it's middle of May, so it isn't surprising that when they put the timestamp of a couple of weeks, they could be trading in a few weeks. Also, right after Goldman Sachs says that they want to open trading, this comes out. So with futures contracts, one of those things that comes out usually whenever a new asset class is introduced, you want to have as much exposure as possible, and this is good for institutional investors. However, like we said before, from a tech standpoint or from a Bitcoin standpoint, you could have already done this because nobody who buys on this exchange actually owns Bitcoin. They own futures contracts, and what's the point of crypto if you don't actually own it? So
right.
That is, you know, good for them, for their industry, but you know, for us, it's sort of, we've seen this before. We already knew you were coming, so
right.
Just get prepared.
But hey, mainstream adoption, good thing. Again, people, we said May it was going to start going down. Here we go. You know, starting to take off. Was it I Bartley 2007 said, how are the fees on Circle for cryptos? I haven't used Circle.
I haven't used it since they had crypto before. That's when I used it. Then they canceled it, and then they came back. So since they canceled it, I didn't go back to it. So not sure now, but it was free when it first came out. Just I guess as a promotion. Right now, it shouldn't be too high though because, you know, I think it's completely free on Robinhood, almost free on Cash App. Don't quote me on that, but yeah, it should be close to free if not free.
And Bitcoin J said in the new Superfly movie they're using crypto as well. I haven't seen it yet, but
they use crypto and everything.
As I was about to say, not even surprised. We're going to start seeing it everywhere, people.
Every Hollywood writer is basically going to be like, you don't know about crypto at this point? Right. You can't write this into the script, then we're going to look like we're left behind. It's sort of like in 2000. or 2003 when cell phones started popping up in every show.
Right.
It was like, you don't have a cell phone in the show? What's wrong with you? You know what I mean? Like, people use cell phones now.
Or there's something else we can throw on there, but it's a social thing, so I'm not going to say it.
Yeah, true.
You know what I'm talking. Federal Reserve. Bitcoin futures launch led to December 2017 price decline. No duh. Oh, yeah. No duh. I mean, again, it's interesting. It looks like the San Francisco Federal Reserve came out. They released an economic letter yesterday basically saying that the Bitcoin's decline following its $20,000 peak in December was a result of the launch of Bitcoin futures trading. You know, it was a mix of things. You just can't blame it on one thing. But the point that they make that kind of a lot of people figure may happen was that it was, it was the first time everyone had the ability to short it. And by everybody, we're talking about the institutional people. Institutional investors didn't want to buy Bitcoin and crypto. They still didn't believe in it. They thought it was a bubble. It was mania. You had the likes of Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, Dino Diamond, all these people talking negatively about it. So instead of all these millions of dollars going into straight crypto and buying it, they said, hey, we're just going to short it with a futures contract. They did it, put pressure on the, of course, on the market, as well as people looking at the media FUD and starting to sell and everything. So
it was a lot of stuff.
It was a lot of stuff. Yeah, it was a ton of
season.
stuff. Tax season.
Chinese
Christmas.
Lunar New Year.
It was Christmas.
It was
Lunar
Christmas.
New Year.
It was, it was a bunch of stuff going on. It was the Mt. Gox trustee selling. It was
right.
It was a bunch of stuff going on, and it was just natural market correction because honestly,
I mean, it shot up from 10,000 to 20,000. We're really shot up from 1,000 to 20,000 in 1 year.
In 1 year. So yeah, and I think in less than a month it went from 8 to 10. So,
yeah.
8 to 20. So you gotta look at it from that point of view. But futures contracts have always made assets go down in price and sort of kept them in tow, but it's only because the supply of those assets have been controlled by a small group of people. Right. In this instance, the reason I think futures contracts are different is because it's still decentralized. I mean, Bitcoin, believe it or not, is still the most decentralized coin out right now, because if you look at all the other currencies, I was reading a report this morning about all the other currencies, most cryptocurrencies out of the top 100 holders, that's 60% of the supply right there and up. So if most of the supply is going to 100 people, that's not decentralized enough for it to work with futures contracts or for futures contracts to affect it. So with Bitcoin, I think, it did to an extent, but I mean, not as big as Federal Reserve is making it, but it's all good. And like you said, we have a long way to go with this, and because you can artificially change the price with futures, when they turn bullish, that'll be what they say is the reason it goes to whatever price. They'll be like, well, the futures contracts helped it go to blah, blah, blah. So
again, it's education as well. I mean, when you talk about it, for one, I will give it to, I think it was a CME or a CBO CEO. Remember, he was like, he's going to try to, or he will tame Bitcoin. Yeah. Clearly, this is what they, meant, what they wanted to do. And again, when you have radio stations, TV stations, and worldwide media working for you, I mean, honestly, to me, they failed because it's still a lie. Yeah. If you have, I mean, what's the one station where they had all the news reporters quote each other from all the local news stations? I mean, literally, the guy owns over 200 and something stations around the United States.
Saying the same thing.
Yeah, of course. If you tell them all to say Bitcoin is bad news and is for selling baby brains, whatever that monger said.
Baby brains.
But the thing that I think that's really going to increase the flippening is, the petro yuan. We've seen that take off. Once that dollar, or once this next big event in the United States does happen, and people are really looking to move money immediately, all those people who either doubted Bitcoin or didn't know anything about Bitcoin and start doing their research, that is where they're going to say, I don't want a futures contract. I don't want whatever. I want the actual thing to hold my money in. So
because you can't redeem that futures contract for crypto. You can settle it with the bank to get more cash out. So.
And that's if the bank has the cash to give you.
Exactly. So yeah, good luck there.
Binance CEO calls ICOs necessary and 100 times easier than traditional venture capital. Changpeng Zhao, the CEO of digital currency trading platform Binance,
my boy,
said in a blog post May 7th that ICOs perform far better than venture capital funds, even with the high risk of failure. He's quoted as saying that through my own experience, and of course through his own experience, I mean, we're talking about guys like 41 years old, put a few million up to start an exchange, and he's now worth over like 1.5 billion in 1 year. So I'm going to take what he says about his experience in this day and age pretty literal. But he said, through my own experience and watching hundreds of other projects at a close distance, I would say raising money through ICOs is about 100 times easier than through traditional VCs, if not more. With the ease of raising money increased, logic says that there might be 100 times more startups, well-funded startups where ICOs are allowed. I definitely agree with them. And one more quote, he said, most ICOs are new startup projects and have a high rate of failure, just like traditional startups. This is nothing new. Most ICO investors already know this. ICO investors are early adopters and learners. I agree completely with all this. Again, and I think a lot of people know this, especially a lot of big money people know it. But the thing is, they don't want to come out and say ICOs are better like he's doing, because that means they need a legal team and government workers on their payroll. Because when things like this happen, the regulators, the New York Attorney General, all these people want to crack down and say, well, why are you saying ICOs are better than VCs? Yeah. And the reason why they're going to crack down is because VCs pay these people. Yeah. I mean, there is a process of VCs.
Keep us rich.
Yeah, there's a process with the VC venture capital, and they pay them. You know, the Binance CEO, he went on to say basically that when you're talking about traditional VCs investing, he said most of them don't know what they're talking about when it comes to projects anyway, which is very true. I know VCs. They have a lot of money. And they usually actually have somebody working for them. Like we said yesterday about Warren Buffett, they usually have people working for them
that tells them
tell them the projects they need to invest in. You know, they might give them an executive summary, if that. Usually they just trust them in general. They have carte blanche the money, but most VCs don't know what projects they're investing in that in depth. So
they usually just use good risk management.
Yeah, use good exactly. Yeah,
the VCs I know, most of them know that if I have, let's say I have $100 million, if I have 10 projects and I put 10 million in each one, all I need is one of them to pop. I just need one to do good. Or I could put 100 million, 1 million in 100 projects and even expand it that way. So if one pops, I just made my money times 10, you know, if I, you know, become a billionaire or whatnot. So it's one of those things where in this space, a lot of people who have invested in ICOs realize the process for investing in something should be as easy as ICOs make it. However, the projects that people are putting out, some people don't like them, or a lot of people.
They're just not good projects.
They're just not good. Yeah. Exactly. I mean,
that doesn't mean the process is bad. It means the project is bad.
Exactly, and that's what I think people are missing. Is the ICO process is beautiful. I love the fact that you can go to a website, you can do all the research you want, and to invest, all you have to do is send it from an address to another address. It takes a matter of minutes.
I'll say it's quick. Then, we actually still have the one on Instagram. Of our first one or two Instagram posts was from the from Civic, from the Civic Key ICO we did live.
Simple, very simple, straight to the point, just to show people that this is how investment should go. As a human being, if I'm participating in the money system, don't try to protect me by keeping me out of it. That doesn't make any sense.
You don't want to take a risk of making money over here.
Yeah, it's like you don't want all this money, man. Right. You know all these problems that come with money.
And again, the main thing is that the traditional route with VCs allows for regulators to get paid. Yeah. The ICO route allows for it's point to point, peer to peer. It allows for the company and the end user to get what they both want out of the deal. And the reason why we said, you know, in Texas, the reason why they're doing all these cease and desist, I saw they did another two. They're doing it because they already have their own money scheme going on with the what was it? With the high rates or whatever, the lending, loans, the money, payday loans and lending. They already got their own scheme going on, as do many other states. So again, the scammy ICOs, all that allowed for was for regulators to say, see, you do need our help, and allow for the dilly gang out there to be like, yeah, we need regulation. Like this is, you know, but in all reality, the process is a great process. It just needs better projects out there, and that's where the self-regulation comes from. People calling out the bad ones.
Yeah, and good luck trying to tell Ethereum not to put out ICOs. Good luck trying to tell Neo not to have ICOs, because, like you said, most of them are backed by countries. These aren't just, you know, some guy in his room typing up, you know, a quick white paper. These are countries that are backing up these projects, and with ICOs, you gotta. People always say that they don't want to limit the innovation. Well, you got to let ICOs run a course, because if you want to stifle innovation, they say ICOs. Because if we stop at 5 cryptocurrencies, then what are we? We just doing what we did before, man. And you got to keep it open for everybody.
And to go back to VCs, it was just the one. I can't remember the company that just went under because of what was it? With the woman, she was head. She was the CEO. They had basically some type of medical device they were selling or whatever. It was a huge company. People I think it was worth like almost 200 plus mil, maybe almost half a bill or so. But they just went under because all the information they provided was false. Damn. You know, it's been around. So it's one of those things where this is a traditional company, traditional VCs, traditional investors, and institutional investors. And it all came out that everything the lady said as a CEO in her company was all lies. It was all false. I mean, and a lot of people lost money.
Have you read a quarterly report from some of these stocks? They all lies. All they do is just use the best jargon available to make it seem like your investment is safe. These quarterly investments, they said
it was like Thermo something. The lady's company. I can't think of it.
They look just like the white paper executive summaries. It looks beautiful, sounds good, and then at the end of the day, it's like whatever. So
Circle adds Monero to crypto investment app. Now, if you remember investment app Circle last week just added Zcash. This week they added Circle. That brings their total up to 7 different cryptos you can buy on the app. Again, people, like we say, it takes time, but it is happening right before your eyes.
Privacy coins.
How many more apps will have different coins on it you can buy and sell by the end of this year? You know, this is, I mean, this is great news, especially for Monero. Of course, you put Zcash on there. I'm sure the Monero clan was like, hold on, wait, can we get some love too?
Yeah, throw us up on it. But we've said it. Privacy coins are going to be all the rage. And you know, in our opinion, and you know, Circle, they're slowly adding coins, which is good, but at least they've added more coins than Coinbase. Coinbase has how many people working for them and how much money, and they couldn't do SegWit, they couldn't get coins added, they couldn't. I mean, it's a lot of stuff they can't do, but I mean, Circle, they basically just reinstated their crypto business. They just bought Poloniex, and they're already adding coins. How many are they up to now? 7?
Right.
Already more than Coinbase. So good for them for the advancement. Like we said, people need easy ways to buy crypto, and most people don't know anything about privacy coins. So Zcash and Monero is a good start. Hopefully they'll add some more. Well, I'm pretty sure they'll add some more before the end of this year. So we'll see which ones they go for. If it's another privacy coin, then obviously, people, there's a theme here. They like, I think if they add 0x, I can promise you, Coinbase is trying to get in on 0x too. So if Circle adds it first, then that's a good sign, because I think that'll show these privacy coins are the ones with the most value going forward, in my opinion.
And you know what? Just to make sure to point her out,
yeah.
The person I was speaking of was Elizabeth Holmes with Theranos.
Yeah.
She was supposed to be, quote unquote, the next Steve Jobs, and she was the one charged with fraud. I remember this story. She basically had a device, I believe it was like for diabetes or something, to test blood. Yeah, she raised more than $700 million from 2013 to 2015 while deceiving investors by making it appear as if Theranos has successfully developed a commercially ready portable blood analyzer that could perform a full range of laboratory tests from a small sample of blood. Again, this is the traditional route. This is the VC route. This is what institutional investors want. This is what regulation looks like. It still doesn't work, people. Yeah. Bad guys are bad guys, no matter if they have, you know, no matter if it's her or if it's somebody else in the ICO space that looks scammy, quote unquote, to some of these people. But
and what about forced investment by banks? Banks failed. $1 trillion failure in 2008. That was $1 trillion failure, and we were forced to invest in banks basically because we got to hold our money there. But yeah, even forced investment is not safe. So I don't know what exactly y'all are going to protect us from, because there's the pieces of paper y'all push across, and empty jargon ain't gonna do it. I can tell you that right now.
Let's see. S1 Dub said, "Do we recommend Circle?" Again, I use different exchanges or peer to peer for buying and selling of Bitcoin when I used to, because I don't own Bitcoin. However, I mean, again, Circle is just another way to do it. I'm not sure. Can you move it off the app right now?
Circle, like I said, I don't use them too much, but I'm pretty sure you can move it off the app or to your bank account, but not between apps, not yet. No,
I would do a Circle test today, and we will get back to you, everyone, tomorrow. Then.
Yeah, and Abra's nice. Actually started using that. Abra's pretty good. Haven't used Robinhood yet, but it's so. I mean, it's a bunch of them now. So
I mean, again, by the end of the year, it might be 20 more out there. So
and these are ones that already had infrastructure. I've been using the ones that kind of are just Bitcoin companies that just kind of started from scratch, like Airbits, Copay, some of those. So yeah, it's whichever one you want to use. However, I will say the no fees one. The apps with no fees are going to win. I can tell you that, because most people.
There's no reason to have a fee.
There's no reason. Yeah.
Had to comment on this story. It's a pretty funny story. We were talking about Oscar Mayer's Bacoin last week. They're saying the cryptocurrency just crashed 93%. Of course, they're not talking about in actual terms of money, but if you remember, Bacoin was Oscar Mayer's attempt at a promotional marketing campaign where they basically says for each Bacoin you own, it's not a real crypto. It's basically like a coupon voucher, but they're worth a certain amount of bacon. Well, it looks like they had a promotion that ended yesterday, and at its peak, one Bacoin could have got you up to, 42 slices of bacon, I believe it was. Yeah.
Man.
No, 14 slices, but still. The Bacoin price early Tuesday morning exploded to 14 slices, up from 5 slices just 2 hours prior. However, at this point, the Bacoin, it says the bears gained a foothold, and it looks like it's dropped down to 1 strip of bacon. But amazing. I wish I would have caught the top. 14 slices of bacon for 1 Bacoin. That's amazing, people. Again, it's down to one slice. It looks like the campaign goes until the end of May this month. But again, this is smart marketing, smart promotion. And then I'm sure if it wasn't for regulators, they actually would launch a real Bacoin, because why not? Yeah. This is where we're going. If it can be tokenized, it will be tokenized. Yeah. So if you could buy bacon with crypto, then again, why not? Or you could have it one bacon, slice of bacon equals however much of Bacoin. That's a cool idea.
Or one pack of bacon.
Right.
I'm looking to buy the dip around one bacon per. This is why I wear this sweatshirt. Looking to buy that dip around one. Hopefully we get up to 20 bacons.
Right.
20 pieces of bacon.
All right, Crypto Q, right. We know we got some vegans in here. Crypto Q, Antonio, and everybody. Yeah, all right. We don't want pigs to get slaughtered. However, the Bacoin idea was amazing. No. Yes, there we go. People smash that like and share. We definitely appreciate it.
Oh, yeah.
S1 Dub said we're definitely going to need some more crypto health insurance with that bacon.
Yeah, I was thinking a crypto heart attack.
Oh, man. Everybody, Jamal J says a big scam to make y'all eat pig. All right, we done. We're done with the pigs. Oh, yeah. Crypto vegan here. There we go, Chris Thorson. We got a lot of crypto vegans. We know a lot of crypto vegans. Honestly.
Yeah. Shout out to Bitcoin vegan.
Bitcoin vegan,
who works with us, does a crypto calendar. Actually, just tested out his Lightning node yesterday. Congrats to him. Got the main networking. Congrats. He will be setting up our Lightning network soon. So
good to hear. All right, for the free Bitcoin today, what are we doing?
All right, so for the free Bitcoin, the report about Eric Schneiderman resigning and his, subsequent, removal. Do you think the next New York AG will continue his legacy of trying to regulate those 13 different companies, or do you think they'll drop it all together? Let us know. Send your public address, and we'll send you that free Bitcoin. I'm
telling you, man, every time somebody stands up against Bitcoin, there's been some bad news right now.
It's not looking good for him, man.
It is not looking good at all.
The Madden curse.
There we go. All right, as always, thanks for watching, people. We will see you tomorrow, bright and early at 10-ish. And that's actually a joke because it's not bright and early.
Have a good one.
Cheers.